Hello again, everybody. Today we are doing context questions. So, what do you need to know about context questions? Well, they don't come up very often. They do sometimes come up in prelims, but less on the final exam. I think I've only ever seen them come up properly one time. The second thing you need to know is that they're only worth 2 marks. If it expects more marks, it means you need to do it twice. They are the third and final type of understanding question that we are going to cover in this series. And these questions are basically just testing your ability to figure out what the meaning of a word is, even if you do not know, okay? So, let's get into it. Okay, I know I said that these questions don't come up very often. However, that does not mean that you can completely ignore these questions, okay? Because I would argue that this teaches you a really valuable skill. Let's think for a second. You're gonna go into the exam. There are gonna be words in there that you do not know the meaning of, okay? So let's start off with an example. Let's try the word ubiquitous, okay? Do you know what that word means? Hats off to you if you do, because it's not a word we tend to use in everyday language. However, this is the kind of word that could come up in the exam. Do you think you could figure out the meaning of it just by looking at it just now? How about instead we try adding a little context? So here we've got the word ubiquitous in a sentence. Okay, although McDonald's are seemingly ubiquitous, after all there are 3 on Edinburgh's Princes Street alone, they are not so numerous as, say, public libraries. Do you think you could work out the meaning of ubiquitous now? You see, in context questions, you're using the words around the main word as clues to help you identify what the meaning actually is. So, what is the meaning of ubiquitous? Do you think you can work it out? The Collins definition for the word ubiquitous seems to be everywhere, or having or seeming to have the ability to be everywhere at once. Now, hopefully, you will have been able to pick that up based on some of the words and phrases that were around it. So, I'll show you how to write an answer now. So, with this type of answer, you have a formula to help you actually write it down. And there are 3 main steps: define, quote, and explain. For step 1, you define what the words mean. So this is where you get your lemony snicket on and you say the word X here means, and then you give your definition. Step 2, quote. This is where you pick other words or phrases from the context that helped you work out the meaning of that word. So you'll say something like, I can work this out from the context because, and then you pick your word or your phrase and you quote it here. Thirdly then, step 3, you need to explain. So explain as fully as you can how that word or phrase helped you come to the meaning. So in order to get this, you will say something along the lines of suggests or implies, and then insert your explanation. Okay, so 3 main steps. I'll show you now how to put them into a sample answer. I've tried to lay this out as clearly as I can. I know it's still a bit messy, but bear with me here. So we just need to plug in our answers. So the word that we are looking for is ubiquitous. So we put that up in the top. The word ubiquitous here means, and then we give our answer. So we know that it means seemingly everywhere. We've been able to work that out from the context. Now we need to do the next bit. We need to find a word or a phrase that helped us work that out. Usually it's pretty clear. So if we go back and have a look at the passage, you can see there are a few words or phrases that we could choose here. So you could have, there are 3 on Edinburgh's Princes Street alone, or you could have numerous. You could maybe incorporate some other bits. So numerous is, say, public libraries, seemingly ubiquitous, that kind of thing. So although you could pick other ones, the main one I'm going to go for here is there are 3 on Princes Street Gardens alone. I've had to shorten it just a little bit to squeeze it into my space, but that is the main word or phrase that helped me figure out the meaning of ubiquitous, the idea that it's seemingly everywhere. The last bit you have to do then is show how that little quote helped you come to the meaning. So you would say something like, this suggests that there are lots of crammed into a small space, which suggests that McDonald's restaurants are seemingly everywhere. Okay, something along those lines. I say explain fully here. That does not mean that you waffle. Keep it clear, keep it concise. Explain it properly one time instead of trying to justify your answer again and again and again and again. We'll finish off then with a few little things to remember. Number 1, they could still come up in the exam. So I've said that I've not seen them very often. That doesn't mean that the SQA won't bring them back at a moment's notice. Number 2, even though they don't come up very often, I think it's still a really useful skill. It's a way of helping you understand words that you don't know the meaning of. Alright, so even if you don't know the word, you can work it out from the context. Number 3, please don't waffle. Explain something well one time rather than trying to justify it again and again and again. Fourthly, define, quote, explain. Try and keep your answer as clear as you can. And finally, give it a go. So say you're reading a newspaper article and you come across a word that you don't know the meaning of. See if you can work out from the context, then go look it up in the dictionary. Alright? It's a really good way to practice. So that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you for watching. Good luck. Please leave me any comments or questions down below, or if you're in my team, please message me. And good luck. Bye.